Ishmael and Luz Theron conclude their ages-long battle, or do they? We share our favorite passages from today's chapter, discuss the origins of Dragonmount, and we conclude with our predictions for where Robert Jordan's epic fantasy series is taking us. This is Saidin
and Saidar,
and you're listening to The True Source.
And welcome back. Today's episode is on the prologue to Book 1, The Eye of the World. Our story opens with a man named Luz Theron Telamon wandering the remains of what we later discover to be his home. Little is done to explain the events that preceded the destruction, but through our reading, we get a sense that Luz Theron is somehow responsible for the chaos and death he finds. As he searches the rubble for his wife, Ilyena, another man appears on the scene, Ilan Morin Tedronai, the betrayer of hope. If this name isn't enough to signal that this is going to be our main bad guy, he does appear to us in his trademark all-black bad guy outfit. He also bad guy monologues at Luz Theron, which is how we begin to learn about these men's history with each other. The slights and the blows and the wounds they've inflicted over the years. We also gain our first insight into the power each man wields. Luz Theron, though we're not sure how, has somehow destroyed his entire palace and everyone in it. Ilan Morin uses his power to heal Luz Theron's broken mind and restore his memories and sanity to him, if temporarily. With his mind back to rights, Luz Theron recognizes one of the scattered bodies in the castle ruins to be Ilyena, his beloved, and at this he vows revenge upon Ilan Morin and Shaitan, the Dark Lord he serves. But it's in rebuke to this vow that Ilan Morin shows Luz Theron how it was his own hand that killed Ilyena, and not just her, but the rest of his family, his children, his battle companions and friends. Ilan Morin extends an offer to bring them back, restore their lives, if only Luz Theron will bow to him and serve the Dark Lord. But in his grief, Luz Theron only has presence of mind enough to gather his strength and flee. Luz Theron finds himself in the wilderness, alone. He reaches for his power, a force called Saidin, the male half of the true source, the power that drives the universe and turns forward the wheel of time. He pulls it into himself, more than any mortal can handle, and causes a great rending and tearing and deforming of the earth. When Ilan Morin arrives, he finds the landscape changed, and where Luz Theron once stood, a mountain protruding miles into the sky, the Dragonmount.
Before we go any further, there's something that we would like to address. Over the eons, we've heard different pronunciations for people and places, and would like to set the record straight. With our new segment, Saidin and Saidar pronounce.
Let's begin with our names. I am Saidar, the female half of the true source.
And I am Saidin, the male half of the true source.
Our power comes from the Creator and turns the wheel of time.
Luz Theron Telamon.
Our protagonist, who is woven in and out of the fabric of time.
Ilan Morin Tedronai.
Our big baddie, our main forsaken, and our dark friend extraordinaire.
Ilyena Sunhair.
Wife of Luz Theron and cause of much anguish. And now, a word from our sponsors. Constantly catching your coat on corners and kitchen cabinetry? Looking for an upgrade but don't know what to choose? Well then, choose Clark's Cloaks, continually providing considerate care for all your cloak-wearing needs.
The classiest cloaks for kids and folks. The classiest cloaks for kids and folks. The classiest cloaks for kids and folks. Choose a Clark's Cloak for you.
Itchy kids constantly choose Clark's Cloaks.
Our comfortable fabric and catchy color choices are quick to please, whether you're a child of the light or a dark friend in disguise. With affordable prices and optional hoodwear, you just can't beat
Clark's Cloaks.
The classiest cloaks for kids and folks. The classiest cloaks for kids and folks. The classiest cloaks for kids and folks. Choose a Clark's Cloak for you.
Now serving the Greater Two Rivers area with locations in Watch Hill, Devon Rye, Tarrant Ferry, and Emmons Field. Closed on Sundays and Beltline.
And now, with this being our premiere podcast, Saidin and I thought we should do something extra special for our listeners. We dug through the ancient archives and were able to,
with much effort,
bring you the actual audio recording of the creation of Dragonmount during the breaking of the world.
Be forewarned, what you're about to hear is not for the faint of heart. Saidar, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, roll the tape.
Ilyena!
My love, where are you? Where are you, my wife? Where is everyone hiding? Ilyena! My love! Come to me, my wife! You must see this!
Lord of the Morning, I have come for you.
Ah, a guest! Have you the voice, stranger? It will soon be time for the singing, and here all are welcome to take part. Ilyena, my love, we have a guest! Ilyena, where are you?
Shaitan take you. Does the taint already have you so far in its grip?
That name, You mustn't say that name. It is dangerous.
So, you remember that much at least. Dangerous for you, fool, not for me. What else do you remember? Remember, you light-blinded idiot. I will not let it end with you swaddled in unawareness. Remember.
Who are you? What do you want?
Once I was called Elan Morin Tedranai, but now...
Betrayer of hope.
So you do remember some things. Yes, Betrayer of Hope. So men have named me, just as they named you Dragon. But unlike you, I embrace the name. They gave me the name to revile me, but I will yet make them kneel and worship it. What will you do with your name? After this day, men will call you Kinslayer. What will you do with that?
Ilyena should be here to offer a guest welcome. Ilyena, where are you?
Look at you. Once you stood first among the servants. Once you wore the ring of Tamerlane and sat in the high seat. Once you summoned the 9 rods of dominion. And look at you, a pitiful, shattered wretch. But it is not enough. You humbled me in the hall of servants. You defeated me at the gates of Paradisen. But I am the greater now. I will not let you die without knowing that. When you die, your last thought will be with the full knowledge of your defeat, of how complete and utter it is. If I let you die at all.
I cannot imagine what is keeping Ilyena. She'll give me the rough side of her tongue if she thinks I've been hiding a guest from her. I hope you enjoy conversation, for she surely does. Be forewarned. Ilyena will ask you so many questions, you may end up telling her everything you know.
A pity for you that one of your sisters is not here. I was never very skilled at healing, and I follow a different power now. But even one of them could only give you a few lucid minutes, if you did not destroy her first. What I can do will serve as well, for my purposes. But I fear Shaitan's healing is different from the sort you know. Be healed, Luce Theron.
Light, help me, Ilyena! No!
You can have her back, Kinslayer. The great Lord of the Dark can make her live again, if you will serve him. If you will serve me.
10 years, betrayer. 10 years your foul master has racked the world, and now this. I will...
10 years, you pitiful fool. This has not lasted 10 years, but since the beginning of time. You and I have fought 1,000 battles with the turning of the wheel. 1,000 times 1,000, and we will fight until time dies and the shadow is triumphant.
For what else you have done, there can be no forgiveness, betrayer. But for Ilyena's death, I will destroy you beyond anything your master can repair. Prepare to...
Remember, you fool. Remember your futile attack on the great Lord of the Dark. Remember his counterstroke? Remember? Even now the 100 companions are tearing the world apart, and every day 100 more join them. What hand slew Ilyena's son Hair, Kinslayer? Not mine. Not mine. What hand struck down every life that bore a drop of your blood? Everyone who loved you. Everyone you loved. Not mine, Kinslayer. Not mine. Remember, and know the price of opposing Shaitan.
Light, forgive me. Light, forgive me. Light, forgive me, Ilyena.
You cannot escape so easily, dragon. It is not done between us. It will not be done until the end of time.
Wow, that was spooky.
So spooky. I have chills.
I could literally feel the world breaking.
Me too. Well, it's time now for our weekly debate, where Saidin and I pick a topic from our recently reviewed chapter and discuss our different interpretations of the event. Saidin, what are we discussing this week?
This week we're discussing the creation of Dragonmount itself.
I believe that Luz Theron, in his utter grief and despair, turned himself into a mountain.
And I think that's ridiculous.
I think you're ridiculous.
Right.
I believe that the book clearly states that he transported himself to a barren landscape, he pulled in a bunch of the power source, and then he turned himself into a mountain.
And he burned himself out and destroyed himself in causing a mountain to be created where he is.
See, you say causing a mountain to be created. I don't see how that's any different from he became a mountain.
Well, what he did, he pulled the power into himself. It says, literally right here, it says, the air turned to fire, and the fire to light, so creating like a plasma torch, I'm imagining. And if a human was in the middle of a giant plasma torch, I imagine we would be turned into vapor immediately. And then it might just go down and then like create a hole in the crust of the earth and like cause a bunch of magma and mountain and giant volcano or mountain to grow right there, perhaps. If you think about it.
So you think a plasma torch came down from the sky, drilled through Luz Theron into the earth, and then it found a pocket of lava, which then caused the lava to erupt and form a mountain.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Well, except not just a plasma torch. He created the plasma torch with Saidin.
I'm picturing Luz Theron as something of a chrysalis, and when he pulls the power into himself, he blooms out of the chrysalis into a beautiful mountain butterfly. That's what I'm seeing in my head.
Yeah,
From Luz Theron comes the mountain.
That's a beautiful image. And
that's why it's called Dragon Mount.
Well, yeah, because
it's
that's where he was when he died.
The person who
died
seeded the mountain.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, he drew the power, drew a bunch of energy there, and then caused it to rise around him. But he can't just make mass out of nothing. He's not the creator. All he can do is channel the power that he can touch. He can't make something out of nothing.
Sure he can.
I have no knowledge of any Aes Sedai creating anything out of nothing.
Well, it's because the Aes Sedai aren't as powerful as he is.
Well, he was an Aes Sedai.
Yeah, but he's got Saidin, not Saidar. Saidin is more powerful when it comes to earth and fire.
Well, yeah, I'm more powerful manipulating it, not of creating it.
He didn't create anything.
You're just saying that he created a mountain out of himself.
Yeah, so he used himself to make the mountain, but he didn't just magic earth out of nothing.
Well, he's not he's not immensely dense, so as to de-densify himself and created a less dense, bigger object.
He vaporized himself into a ton of particles, and then he spread himself out over this giant area, and then he dipped into the earth, pulled everything up around him, so he is essentially the mountain. The mountain is infused with every bit of him.
Well, that's exactly what I was saying.
Oh, is that what you were saying?
Well, I mean, he vaporized himself and then created a mountain. There might be hunks of him in the mountain, or like
random hunks of Luz there.
Well, bits of his ash.
Be careful where you walk; you might step in something.
Imagine what you get for a Luz there and arm bone.
That would sell wonderfully on the dark friend market. So, are we arguing the same point, just using different words?
I feel like we're arguing the same point.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we resolved that of our first debates.
Me too. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Are you concerned that a volcano is going to erupt in the center of your croquet course?
We're here for you.
Are you troubled by the thought of inhaling volcanic ash on your morning commute?
We're here for you.
Does the persistent thought of molten lava intruding on your perfectly pruned perennials keep you up at night?
We're here for you!
At Turning Wheel Insurance, LLC, we're here to provide you with volcanic coverage tailored to meet your needs. When the wheel turns wrong, we're here to make it right.
And we're here for you.
We're here for you.
We're here for you.
Turning Wheel Insurance, LLC.
We're here for you.
As the true source, we are well aware of the ebb and flow of time, the events that have been and will be. But just for fun, we're going to pretend like we don't know what happens next and predict what is coming up, based purely on what we have just read. Saidin, what do you think is going to happen next?
Well, based on what we just read, I think that we are going to follow Elon Morin through the entire series, and he's going to become our protagonist. And so we're gonna have a kind of an anti-hero main guy who's a bad guy, and it feels like he knows that he's a bad guy and doesn't really care.
Oh, that's exciting. So Elon is going to drive the story from here on out?
Yeah, that's what it seems like just from
I like
here.
that. That's a good prediction. I think that what we read in the prologue is actually a preview of the end of this story. So what we're going to see in chapter 1 is we're going to backtrack into Luz Theron's life, and we're going to spend the rest of the book finding out how it is he got to that point where he was stumbling through a ruined house and tripping over a dead wife.
I like that.
Yeah.
Tune in next week to find out if either of us were right.
This has been Saidar,
And Saidin.
reminding you that the wheel weaves as the wheel wills.
So there's no use resisting the inevitable.
See you next week.
Bye!
To contact us, you can email us directly at thetruesourcepodcast@gmail.com. To keep up to date with us, check out our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, and our YouTube channel. This has been the True Source Podcast.